So one of the greatest misconceptions about herpes is that HSV-1 is only oral and HSV-2 is only genital. Unfortunately, this is not true. You can get either strain in either location. More commonly, you can get HSV-1 below the belt. HSV-2 very rarely lives above the belt, but it can happen. So basically, if you have a cold sore, which is most likely oral HSV-1, and you go down on someone and give them herpes that way, they are not going to have genital HSV-2. They will have genital HSV-1. This is a cited source from Hopkins Medicine. Basically, it describes the different types of herpes here, and on the bottom here it says, however, it is possible for HSV-1 to cause genital herpes and HSV-2 to cause oral herpes. It also goes on to say clinicians cannot tell the difference between the two types from physical examination alone. Basically, all that means is it looks the same, it acts the same. They need to actually physically test the source to see which strain is which strain. Back in the day, when this misconception first came about, the reason why people thought that HSV-1 was only oral and HSV-2 was only genital was because oral sex was not nearly as popular. So that was more true, where basically people who are not partaking in oral sex can't get genital HSV-1. But now that oral sex is so prominent, according to a new research study, 60% of new genital herpes cases are attributed to HSV-1, meaning that the majority of genital cases that are coming into the doctor's office are actually HSV-1. The speculation for this is back in the day, it used to be commonplace to kiss your children on the mouth, like moms and dad would kiss their kids hello and goodbye directly on the mouth, giving them HSV-1 orally. That's why most cases of HSV-1 orally was getting in childhood from a parent or family member kissing a child on the mouth. Because that is no longer a common practice, because this generation no longer kisses their kid on the mouth and does more cheek kisses or head kisses, because of that, kids are no longer getting HSV-1, meaning you don't have that protection. So the people who do have oral HSV-1 and are going down on their now adult partners, those partners who don't have HSV-1 orally are susceptible to getting it genitally. Just as with HSV-2, HSV-1 can also spread with no signs or symptoms present, meaning that if you have nothing on your mouth looks clean, but you go down on a partner, you can still give them genital HSV-1. Genital HSV-1 and oral HSV-1 and genital HSV-2 and oral HSV-2 all look and act the same. They're all treated with the exact same medication. The only slight difference between the two is that HSV-1 genitally tends to have less reoccurring outbreaks, and the outbreaks tend to be a little more mild in some people. In other people, it's just as bad. And some people with HSV-2 are asymptomatic, meaning they never have any signs or symptoms. So it's really dependent on the person. The major scientific difference is that HSV-1 tends to virally shed less on the genitals than it does orally. So you are less likely to transmit it from genital to genital with no outbreak present. However, with genital HSV-1, you are more likely to pass it to your partner through oral sex. Like if your partner does not have oral herpes and they go down on you and you're having an outbreak, they are more likely to contract it orally. Whereas HSV-2, it really doesn't like to live on the mouth all that often, so it's less likely to transmit to a mouth during oral sex. So there really is pros and cons to having either strain in either location. It all really kind of depends on you as an individual and how it reacts with your body and your immune system. But as I always say, there's no hierarchy of herpes, and each person reacts to getting herpes differently. So don't think just because you have one, it's worse off than the other, because it really does depend. Because I had genital HSV-1 and I had reoccurring outbreaks per month my first year. So, and other people with HSV-2 are asymptomatic and never have an outbreak in their entire life. So it really does depend on the individual person.